Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, Mamega. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Faqih Khoironi, and I'm the student of RPL Batch 5. And in this occasion, I would like to present the response for the midterm evaluation test in reading for academic paper. So, in the response, I would like to present the article that I got as a duty to identify the research objective, design of study, and etc. So here's my presentation. So the first one is the research objectives. So the researchers divide the objectives into three. The first one was to compare the instructional effects of using textbook and traditional textbook on the students' performance in reading comprehension summative test. And then the second, investigate the effect of reading strategy instruction using the instructive multiple choice question of the e-textbook platform on the students' performance in reading comprehension formative quizzes. And then also, the third one is to examine the students' perception of the two textbook mediums. So next, we jump to the design of the study. So the researchers actually didn't really mention the specific design of the study. I mean, the type of the design, but the researcher instead mentioned about that they use mixed approach to collect the data. So next, we jump to the data collection process. So I would like to explain the data collection process. So the researchers, the first doing the summative learning test and then lesson quizzes test to get the experiment data, and then after that, they do those tests during the semester, and then after that, the researcher doing questionnaire to get the students' perception of the textbook. And then the questionnaire consists of 15 items, and then using 5-point Likert scale. And then after that, after the questionnaire was done, the researcher conducted the semi-structured interviews to get a deeper information or to get additional information about the student's perception. And the semi-structured interview was conducted, consists of 6 students. And then next we jump to the data analysis. So the data analysis was divided into two process. The first one is the quantitative process. So the two statistical t-tests were performed to compare the test results. So both summative learning test and then lesson quizzes test. It was compared using two statistical t-tests. It was compared using two statistical t-tests, and then after that, the researcher also used Likert scale to examine the mean and the standard deviation of the questionnaire, summative learning test, and then lesson quizzes test result. And then after that, qualitatively, the researcher identified common themes such as past experience, usefulness, and comparison between the textbook, and then also identified the statement which most frequently mentioned in the semi-structured interview. And next, we jump to the findings chapter. So in this chapter, the researchers divided the findings based on the research question. So there are 3 research questions. That's why there are 3 results in this study. So the first one is that there is no significant difference in the scores for reading comprehension of print textbook and e-textbook. Also, the second, the instructive question on textbook significantly helped students identify main ideas. And then the third, it found that almost a half of students still preferred using print textbook rather than e-textbook. And next, we jump to the discussion. So the discussion is easy to understand and easy to follow because the researchers uh, define the flow in the some subheading, and in the first subheading the researcher try to explain about that if ebook and the print book was having the same similar performance in reading comprehensive, and then the researcher also take a conclusion from this that reading skills were more important. And after that, the researchers try to explain about the interactive platform produce better effect of for the students. So the researchers try to effect why the interactive platform produce better effect for the students. And after that, in the subheading 3, the researcher try to explain about why the students still prefer to use the print book. So in this subheading and then the fourth subheading, the researcher try to explain about the students' perception and also why they are still choosing on the print textbook. And after that, we jump to the conclusion. So the conclusion is whether I'm sorry, even though the print even though the print and e-textbook cannot even though the print and e-textbook have a similar performance, but uh, there are some additional part where additional platform from the ebook that it improves the students motivation in reading. So the conclusion is that both of them have a similar performance, but ebook have what is that have more advantage for the students. But the print textbook cannot be replaced by ebook because the students still prefer in using the print book, and it is because some features need to be improved, especially reducing eye fatigue because most of the students feel feel more tired when they use ebook. So that's all my presentation. I hope it can be clearly understood, and thank you so much for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.